Hello everyone. Today I'm going to be going over prominent features on models and why it is so important nowadays. I do not think that the average model is eligible for success in the modern market. What I'm going to show you today is, for one, I'm going to show you some niches or types of models or looks that I do not think you should go for. And the reason I'm showing you 3 examples actually of models that I don't think are exactly good for beginners to go for. However, I'm going to show you examples that have worked so that, the owners, if they see this video, they're not offended, because I know that they're very good marketers and I don't think that they are eligible for beginners to go into these types of models or these niches. And then I'm going to show you some examples of models that I think are very, very unique and good. And remember that I've been doing this for over 3 years now. A very, very long time, longer than anyone else. And the types of models that I'm seeing nowadays are very exciting to me because we have not seen them. So I'm going to show you 3 examples of models that I don't think would work for a complete beginner now. Then I'm going to show you 4 models that I think are extremely good for beginners, and I also think are very unique and very clever in the way they market. And I'm going to show you some examples of niches that I've basically made up or that I think are next up and that you should maybe follow, because I don't see any of these models personally coming up on my feed, or I haven't seen many of them at least. So, you guys can go away, you can make these kinds of models, and I'm going to show you how you can make these types of models also in this video. So let's just get straight into it. This is more of a marketing analysis video rather than the standard, purely for beginners, AI design, beginner marketing, any of this kind of stuff. We're actually going to dive quite deep into why these models either do or don't work and why. So, once again, I don't know anyone who owns any of the models that I'm going to go through on Instagram. So if they are yours, apologies if I slate them. However, I have chosen models that I am, slating, or the niches that I am slating, I know that are very good at marketing, so you should not get offended because I've chosen you for a reason. I don't think you should get offended by anything that I say today. So, this model, first off, Vanessa Rayner, randomly come up on my feed. It's cool, it obviously does very well. It's got a lot of followers. They know what they're doing in terms of getting views on the platform. However, to me, there is nothing about this model that completely stands out. Now, when you think back to, a couple years ago, this was the kind of model that you'd think is very, very impressive. Now, the AI design is bang on, it's perfect. There's nothing wrong with it at all. In fact, it's an extremely good model. And hats off to whoever created this. However, if you were to come into this as a beginner now, with the quality of AI design that we see, this would not cut it. The reason being is there's no prominent features about this model. If this model was purely based like this, kind of a goth look with black lipstick, I'd say that's very impressive. However, there's nothing to me that makes this model instantly stand out from the rest. And the reason this is a bad thing is because there's so many models on the market now. I've been telling you for fucking years that this is going to get saturated very, very fast. The whole AI model market, any kind of OnlyFans content, real OnlyFans models who happen to look like this, and they can't help that at all. They can't compete now because there are people, very clever people like this with 70,000 followers who can just bang out content like it's nothing and have very good success with it. However, there is no prominent features to this model. It's just a brunette model, with nice features that fans would look for, don't get me wrong. However, if this was posted as a beginner, right now with the standard post with your standard reels, this wouldn't get very many views. And the reason being, there's just no prominence to her. There's nothing to make her stand out, which once again was fine a couple years ago. Now there's too many. There's too many on the market. There's too many brunette models. There's too many. I'd say this is kind of a Latina model. Very well made once again. However, there's nothing that makes her stand out. So this is number one. You may think this is extremely good. However, as a beginner, you won't be able to compete if you made this model right now. Very similar subject here. The one thing that makes her stand out is the short hair. You don't see many short-haired models on the market now. However, once again, they've done very well. You know, nearly 100k followers. They know what they're doing with marketing, which is why I don't recommend these types of models for beginners, because you can't compete. You don't completely understand, and you may think you do coming into the market, into the industry. You may think you understand, you know, okay, this type of video makes you go viral, all this kind of stuff, but these guys have made this niche very popular, and they are the ones that have innovated this type of model, and therefore they are able to go viral. They've already got the audience that allows them to get views, allows them to get likes, engagement, that makes them go viral, and that is why them doing this is absolutely fine. So this model, nothing wrong with this model in terms of, you know, the model herself, but if you as a beginner were to make this exact model now, start from 0 followers, you would not succeed, in my opinion. It's a very well made model, but there's nothing prominent about her. I mean, obviously, okay, fair enough, she has a clear prominent feature, which, you know, as a man you pick up on instantly, of course, but there are so many models like this now. So this model was ahead of the curve because, you know, this model clearly started a long time ago. I have a lot of mutual followers on this account with this model, so they've been going for a long time. I know they have, and they've done very well with it. However, there's nothing prominent about it. You may think, okay, big tits, cool, that's a niche that I'm going to go into. I don't think that's enough now, and for that reason, that is going in the, you know, not good enough pile. Especially content like this, very cartoon-like type of content, works for this model. You know, they got 3,000 likes on this post, but it's not going to work for beginners, especially in the US, UK market. People are getting very switched on to AI models, what they look like, how they act, all this kind of stuff. So for that reason, this is not a good model for a beginner to go into. And the last one that I'll go over, I just wanted to point out this, I'll say it again, 80,000 followers. This particular model has done very well. They're very smart at marketing. I know that they know what they're doing, so I'm not slating this particular model. However, if you want to make a blonde hair, blue eyes model in the current market today, you do not stand a chance if you do not have any experience in this industry. Just pointing that out straight away. I won't even go over this account. It's just, you know, it's a blonde model. Everyone thinks I'm going to make a blonde model. This account has done well. A lot of accounts have done well, but as a beginner, this is not going to work. So let me go over some models that are going to work for you or have worked very recently for particular people, and why these are better suited to the market. I'm going to go over some of my ideas that I think will be next up in the industry. So this kind of vitiligo niche, I think that's what the condition is called. It's a skin condition where people get pigments on their skin, and effectively they'll either be black or they'll be white, and they'll have either black or white pigments on their face or on their body in general. Now, very unique feature, one that makes real chicks appealing, and also, of course, with AI chicks appealing, because we can just create these out of nowhere. These models have been going crazy very recently. So whoever originally come up with this idea, big hats off. I don't think it was this model particularly, but this model was clearly benefited off this because they got 100,000 followers. And I assume this leads to some sort of fan view or OnlyFans page. I don't want to click that link because this is going on YouTube, but once again, this will funnel somewhere, and this is a very good idea. And they got celebrity pictures in here as well. So vitiligo, or this similar kind of skin pigmentation niche, is very good right now. It's one that I've seen a lot of, so I think that a lot of people have picked up on the kind of the first movers in the industry, and picked up on it and are going for it. So I think very soon this will phase out and not be as popular or not get enough traction. But Right now, at the current moment that I'm recording this video, if you were to make one of these models, you would definitely, you know, have success, or in my opinion. They're also very smart with their marketing. Like, this doesn't just come with luck. Yes, they have a very clever way of marketing in that they have the vitiligo model. However, as you can see, this is the Venezuelan president that recently got arrested, or whatever. They've made a post with them. He's in handcuffs. You know, they're very extremely smart with the way they're marketing this. So, you know, hats off. This doesn't just come with complete luck. And this is a niche that you could most definitely go down. So that's another one there. This one, scar on the face, a lot more subtle, a lot easier to complete, because remember, with something like a vitiligo model who has certain skin pigments, if you get one slightly wrong, as in one image with different pigmentation to another image, you're kind of fucked, because a lot of the hardcore fans will pick up on that and they will very quickly realize this is not a legitimate model. Not that we're trying to deceive anyone into believing that our models are real or anything like that. I wouldn't, you know, I certainly don't condone that kind of behavior where you're trying to be completely real. However, just certain differences in different images make it more inconsistent, make the fantasy more inconsistent, and therefore will ruin your chances of getting longer term subscribers, because those kind of guys will realize. But you know, this model's doing everything right. They got like kind of Omegle clips, as you can see here. All the kind of scarring is consistent in the images, and it's a very good niche to go into because it makes the model so much more recognizable, gives her a brand, and just overall is a very good niche. Now, this particular model has 2,500 followers, which isn't a lot. It's not a lot. And they only started a week ago, from what I can see, 2 weeks ago. So 2,500 followers in a couple of weeks is very impressive anyway. And I believe this model will succeed and do extremely well in the coming months. But this kind of scarring is a very good niche because it's so easy to go into. This is another model. I'm going to do a very short one on this because it's not very impressive as such, and it's not extremely unique. It's basically just short hair. But short hair is so unique because no one really thinks of doing short hair. It sounds stupid, but no one kind of goes into this particular type of content or this type of model, and therefore that makes this model very successful because, as you can see, over 100,000 followers, lots of engagement on all their posts. So there is an audience for this, and there is an interest for this type of model. So short hair, just have a think about it. This one really impressed me. I've seen this come up on my personal Instagram feed. 30 million views on this post, 11 million views, 17 million views, 4 million views. The amount of traction that this model has curated is extremely impressive. And, you know, hats off to the owner of this model because they have a brain and a decent brain at that. You know, they have followed all the trends. This trend particularly has done well twice on their page, or 3 times if you count this video here. But, you know, this kind of birthmark, prominent birthmark on the face, it works so well. No other model has this, and it's almost a brand in itself, having a mark on her face like this. It's kind of next to none. I haven't seen another model like this, other than copycats of this model. Unless this is a copycat, I'm not actually sure, but this is, you know, the model that stands out to me in this niche particularly. So yeah, those are some niches which I think are very good, and they don't follow the norm, which I like a lot, and I think just screams success. You know, if you actually put a brain behind it, you don't just think, oh, okay, you know, I'm into Swedish girls, so I'm going to make a Swedish girl. That's not good enough now. If you were to hop on this business 2 years ago and you made a Swedish girl and she was very realistic and she was good looking, you would make a lot of money. Now, you won't. You just won't. As a beginner, you don't have any marketing experience, you don't have any experience in the industry. Unless you've done extreme research, you don't know how to make these models go viral. And this is just pure honesty. You won't find decent traction in basic models now. You need something that makes you stand out, because I wouldn't specifically say that these guys have anything special about them in terms of the videos they're posting, in terms of the trends they're following. They have just applied a very unique look to their model, which in itself is a niche. Sometimes we talk about niches, we talk about models being interested in chess, and we talk about personality and, them being into football or soccer, and wearing, a Manchester United top, and that used to be enough. But now prominent facial features, prominent features on the body are winning, and very much so. There's nothing that really competes with prominent features on the face, on the body, all this kind of stuff. So those are some examples of real life models that are doing very well. Now, I have put together a document with I think 5 or 6 different niches on here, which I think are next up or definitely have more potential. So if you're looking to get into this business, I recommend going for this type of model, because models are extremely easy to make now, and they weren't so much before, And when I say before, I mean literally a month or 2 ago. These models, AI models weren't easy to make. You had to make a workflow or buy a workflow or, all this complex shit, which now you do not have to do. And I'm going to show you how to after this. So AI model niches, ones that I think are next up. Number 1, heterochromia. I think that's how you say it, and I think that's what it's called. I don't even know if this is a fucking real word, but I think it is. This basically means one eye color is different to the other eye color. So one eye is blue here and one eye is brown here. Very unique feature, something that is going to make your model stand out, something that gives your model a bit of branding. I don't think I've seen any models with this. So this is a very good option if you want to get into it. As you can see, it literally just makes her stand out so much more. If she had 2 brown eyes or 2 blue eyes here, she'd be a normal chick, but she's not, because she has 2 different eye colors. So yeah, that's that. Gap tooth. There's something about gap teeth. If they were to make a TikTok video, I've made previous videos on how to make TikToks, how to recreate TikToks for your AI models. And if you were to make, a smiling video like this, and your model had a big gap in their tooth or crooked teeth, it'd be a winner. And I'm telling you now, it'd be a winner, because if they're attractive, they have something that makes them stand out. That is the winning recipe for models. That's literally marketing in a nutshell, right? Something that makes them stand out. Gap tooth isn't specifically one that I would personally say is extremely attractive, but it just makes the model stand out more than your average model if she did not have this. That's all it is. That's all marketing is. Gap tooth is one. Grey hair streak. I haven't actually seen many kind of two-tone hair models, which is why I put this in here. This is kind of from my understanding, like a genetic condition. I've seen some real girls with this. They have either brunette or blonde hair, and they have like a grey streak at the front of their hair. It's just unique, it makes them stand out. Once again, I don't need to go over all this kind of standout bollocks again, but a grey streak in the hair is not one that I've seen, and one that I think makes the model very prominent, especially at the front of the head. Elf ears. Now, this particular model, I made all these examples with one singular prompt, I didn't spend a lot of time on this model. I agree. You're probably watching this thinking this looks like shit, or this doesn't look realistic. Yes, this looks like a bit of a cartoon. Better than anything we could make a year ago, by far. But not realistic. I agree. This is a cartoon looking model, but these pointy kind of ears, maybe make them a bit more subtle than they are in this picture. I just kind of wanted to exaggerate for the video. But one with pointy ears, with, you know, a very attractive face and features, it would bang. It just would. I don't see any models like this. If you can make this happen, you'll go viral. Anime Japanese. If you watched my last video on basically trends, I went over the Pornhub Wrapped for 2025, which basically covers the most, or the highest interest in the porn industry in the West. So all the US, UK, Australian guys, Canadians, the most popular niche is hentai. Hentai is like cartoon porn, which not only validates the fact that we're doing AI models because no one cares if, you know, where they get their porn is real or not, but also kind of validates the fact that people are into Japanese looking chicks, because hentai is very, you know, Japanese orientated or Asian orientated, and therefore anime Japanese kind of chicks, I don't see many of them at all. And I think that this is a niche that could really, really do well, and I don't see many of them or anyone taking advantage. Beauty spot or prominent moles. This is the last one that I'm going to go over. Beauty spot. Very strange feature that not everyone's into, but think of popular celebrities. Marilyn Monroe, Scarlett Johansson, trying to think of another, but just, yeah. People, celebrities, models with kind of prominent features, such as literally a mole on their face. Sounds ridiculous, but it makes them stand out. It gives them almost like this brand. It makes them separate from the crowd, and they're now not just a brunette chick, normal chick. They now have, you know, a prominent mole or spot on their face, which is always there, and people can recognize them from, you know, a mile away. So that's another one. Beauty spots, or whatever the fuck you want to call it, a mole is another avenue that you can go down to make your model more prominent. What I'm going to do now is live show you exactly how you can make this type of model. So let's just say we want to make a model with pointy ears. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the AIModelFactory.com. The link will be in the description. Click on that. You get free tokens when you sign up, so no need to worry about this. What you're going to do is you're going to go to create character, nano ultra. Now you can go here and it will get you a very realistic character, especially if you're going for the kind of normal, you know, blonde hair, blue eyes, just a very nice looking character. This is the cheapest option that you could possibly think of, 5 tokens, whereas this one is 150 tokens, which is a lot more expensive, obviously, but it's going to give you more prominent features when you prompt it to. So let's just type in here, 21-year-old, comma, Japanese girl, slim, let's go schoolgirl niche, because that's a very prominent niche in the hentai kind of atmosphere from my research. And then what we're going to do, we don't need to put any complex shit here, because we can just press the enhance with AI feature. And then we can press Creative Nano Ultra. I'm going to pause this right here because this is going to take about a minute and I don't want to waste anyone's time by just chatting shit. So I'm going to pause this and come back when it's generated. Alright, simple as that. We have a kind of Japanese schoolgirl hentai niche, but realistic model. And that was as easy as putting a prompt in and pressing enhance with AI. It's literally as simple as that. Now I'm going to make a different type of model. So let's go over to the prompt box. Let's type in 20-year-old blonde model, slim. Let's go Swedish, prominent, red scar on left cheek. Press enhance with AI, see what it comes out with. One thing I forgot to mention is if it comes up with anything to do with kind of the environment on this prompt, you probably don't want it. You probably want to say something along the lines of studio lighting, white background, passport style photo, and then I'm going to click create. Now the reason you don't want like a super Instagram type image for this image is because this is going to be your main image that you work off of, meaning that when you make images that you found references for, it's going to transfer the features of this model onto that image. So you want the features of the image that you create here to be as high quality as possible, so that when they transfer to other types of images, that image is going to look like your model, rather than it being a luck game. You know, if it's zoomed out, if it's took in weird lighting in a weird environment like a classroom, with, you know, the sun coming through the window and half the face is a shadow, it's not going to come out with a great image. But having a studio type image, white background, passport style photo is going to give you a great image to work off of when you make your Instagram style images with reference images to copy off of. So yeah, once again, I'm going to come back when this is generated. All right, cool. This is not the image that I would go for as my final image. I'd press regenerate, but I can't really be asked right now. It's a female. She's blonde. She has a prominent scar on her face, and this is a great type of image if you wanted this particular female to work off of for your future Instagram type images. But yeah, very simply, that's how you generate this type of image, and that's how you get prominent features on the model. And I recommend that you do go for prominent type features in today's market, because honestly, this market very, very soon, by the end of this year, it will be impossible almost for beginners to get into this. And I don't say this lightly, I say this very literally. If you go to the videos that I posted at the start of last year, 2025, I was warning you that, you know, the barrier to entry is growing. It's very, very wide now. Models are starting to go viral, more viral than normal OnlyFans girls. They're hitting the news. This industry is going crazy, and by the end of this year, if you have not started this business model and you're thinking of starting now, just start it now, because it will be near impossible to start this business at the end of this year, 2026. Mark my words, I'm telling you now. Faster movers, people that are able to grow a fan base, people that are able to grow models, you know, by the end of the year, if you already have a big model, you're fine. But if you don't, if you have a model with 0 followers, you're fucked. Let's be honest, you're fucked. So start now, start making models, start practicing. You don't have to get it right the first time. In fact, you won't get it right the first time, but start taking the correct steps in order to succeed within this business. And the best way you can do that is to jump into it. Jump on an AI platform, start making models, start posting on Instagram, follow the stuff that, you know, people like myself who invented this business model and have been here for over 3 years are telling you. Follow what I'm saying. I have taught thousands, if not tens of thousands of people over the past 3 years to be able to do this, many of which are now millionaires from this. That's not an exaggeration, that's a fact. Start now. That's my advice. That's my honest advice. Because you will find yourself in a sticky situation when you miss this opportunity. This is exactly like discovering Bitcoin in 2013 or discovering SMMA back in 2018. If you get in now, you're one of the lucky ones. You discovered this early. If you don't, you'll look back and you'll find it impossible to get in. So start now. Just start now. That being said, if you want to follow a course which will take you from generating models to posting on Instagram and marketing to then making money with them step by step in a no bullshit frame. I have a $47 course which comes with a community full of people who are also trying to do this business model, many who have which succeeded, and many coaches in there as well that will be able to give you their time and answer questions. That will be in the description. Community, all that kind of stuff. Go to my Telegram, it's a free community there. My Instagram, feel free to message me on there, although I can't reply to everyone because I get too many DMs. But there's some value on there also, as well as the Telegram, as well as the course. So check all those things out. Check out this AI generator. If you need a sales team for your fan view pages, people to chat to your customers, once again, description, apply to my chatting team, chat link. We're the largest chatting agency on FanView by far, and we will be able to help you in that aspect as well. So enjoy your time in this business model. It's a very fun one. It's, you know, a lot more fun than a lot of other business models. 10 times more fun than trading or e-com. So get into it now, and yeah, stick around, subscribe, check out the other videos, and I'll see you in a bit.